This might be a tad of a controversial video. I'm going to talk about why I ignored tournaments and events for the longest time. Now, I've not been playing the game for a long time. I've been playing the game for 162 days, but I got to say, in the first couple months of this game, I largely did not pay a lot of attention to the tournaments and the events. And mostly it was because I didn't feel like I was going to be efficient at them enough to participate. Now, right now is one of the best times to start playing Raid Shadow Legends. Link in the description, or scan the QR code on the screen. You'll get Tayrel, an epic character, and then also Rector Drath, once you get to level 25, which is absolutely amazing. And then run, don't walk in the first 24 hours of downloading the game. You're going to want to use a promo code Monkey King to get Sun Wukong, which is a legendary. Absolutely one of the best characters in my account to this day. Rex nerds use him all the time. Got to do that within the first 24 hours. And then in addition to that, once you've logged in for 7 days, there's the 7-day login event for Alice the Wanderer. And you don't have to do 7 days in a row. You can do 7 days whenever. I believe this event will be running through another month or so, but log in any 7 days and then you'll get Alice, which is legendary. So 2 legendaries, 2 epics. Now, there's tournaments and events that run throughout the game. There's always something going on. And for sure, at some point, I started focusing on tournaments and events. And the game became, like, let's say after I got Arbiter. So Arbiter is the character that you get from working the progress missions, the Arbiter missions. But up until then, I wasn't focused on them. Like, I largely just ignored them. And I know that seems controversial because I've talked to my wife, Kat. I've talked to another player that came from the same game I did, and he started playing around the same time again. They've largely focused on tournaments and events. Now, tons of ways of playing Raid Shadow Legends. That's the beauty of Raid Shadow Legends, is that you can play the game any way you want, and the game allows for that. It's not that prescriptive. Tons of stuff that you can do and play the game the way you like. I mean, there's not like login streaks, and you're not like compelled to do anything. You can play the game you want. Now, the way that I played it is I focused on things that happened all the time in the game, and that there was currency coming in on a daily basis. And I saw this as something to focus on. So there's 3 areas specifically that for me, I kind of chipped away a little bit slowly over time. One was the fortress keys. Now, this is not super important, but it was something that I did focus on, the Iron Twins Fortress. Come back to that in a minute because I don't think that should be the primary focus. The other one was for sure the Demon Lord and the clan boss. Really, really important. This is super important. You get keys throughout the day, and on a daily basis, you're getting rewarded very important gear. And then as I went up and did the harder difficulties, Nightmare, Ultra Nightmare, started getting books. Legendary books, epic books, super important, but also gear. And the way this works too, worth noting, is that if your alliance, gets through 100%, let's say on Nightmare, then you get double the chests. So if I score over 39 million and my alliance finishes it, then I get 2 rewards. And so I'm able to 1 key Nightmare, and then I can 2 key Ultra Nightmare, and that was important for me. And that was like the main thing I focused on. I was more focused on building up that team than events. If there was an event running, fine. I would run an event and get whatever. The next thing that I was hyper focused on, and I think that it's a tad overwhelming, was the crypts. There's a ton of rewards for getting more stars down here, and eventually you get Lydia, which is absolutely amazing. Can't wait to get Lydia. But the main thing about the crypts that's worth mentioning is that this is a reoccurring source of gear. There's materials that drop right here, which can be used at the forge, and then also glyphs. So I was hyper focused on every day coming in here and looking at the characters that I needed for the faction. And I would try to get 5 of each faction, right? And then I would upgrade them. Like if I had a rare, I would take it up to level 30. and then I put gear on it, not even really good gear, but just whatever gear I had lying around. And I would try to get 5 characters up and running, and I would pick the 5 best of each faction. And then as I got new characters and better characters in the roster, then I would cycle through them. And gonna have to take characters like rares up to 30 anyways to use for food. I would strip the gear off of them when I had the free removal of gear, which happens about once a month for about 3 days. And I would just save them once I had gotten use out of them. But I was really focused on getting 5 characters up and running. And the reason for that is that this is a currency that comes in every day. And so what I was doing is, let's say I had 1,000 energy, right? Because that's about what you get for free per day if you do all of the daily activities. And rather than spending that 1,000 energy on an event, I would spend the 1,000 energy on upgrading those teams so that when they came back, I could get the most. And it kind of compounds, because here I'm getting red stars, here I'm getting better gear to go into the forge and glyphs, and then I'm getting books from the Demon Lord, right? And all of that is making my roster better so that I can do better in the events and the tournaments when I get to a place that I can actually do that. I don't know. It's just the way I did it. And I think that I switched over to focusing on events once I got to a place where I was getting through this. And I think players that have played the game for a long time have set up this stuff like on Iron Twins and the Crypts and the Demon Lord a long time ago. And then they move into a place where they can focus on min-maxing their resources and focusing on events. And surely I will do that. But I don't think it was good to do that before I had optimized those areas of the game. And I think for me, it was just better to focus on those 3 areas rather than the events. Yeah, if there was an event running and I could line it up with another event and it was leading me to that path of getting that done, I absolutely would do that. But it wasn't my focus on a daily basis, was events, and I largely ignored them unless it was convenient. And yeah, if I was doing something to further those 3 areas and I was participating in an event, cool. But was I slowing down my Crypt progress and my Demon Lord progress and my Fortress progress just to do an event that I couldn't even participate in at max level? Like these tournaments right here, like I'm looking at the Spider-Man, I can't max this out. Sand Devil, I can't max this out. So why am I spending energy on that when I could be spending the energy in 12-3 Brutal? I got to tell you, this 12-3 Brutal is very, very important. What the deal is on 12-3 Brutal, this is going to give the most experience and gold per energy. So like right here, you can see these 3 guys right here. So got a farmer, which is Sun Wukong, Monkey King code. Like I said, gotta use it. And this is going to give the ability to upgrade my characters efficiently, get good amounts of silver. I call it gold, but it's silver all the time. And get the characters up and running for the faction crypts. And if I'm going to use a rare like this guy, let's say I want to use the Hellspawn out, there's no downside to taking him to 30 because I'm going to have to use him as a food eventually. But in the meantime, I can take one of them to 30, put some gear on it, get some stuff out of the faction, and move my account forward. I don't know if this makes any sense. If it doesn't, let me know in the comment section. Like I said, there's tons of ways of playing this game. This is just the way that I played it. And of course, if you're just getting started in Raid Shadow Legend, please use the code in the description or scan the QR code here on the screen for lots of bonus stuff. And don't forget to use the promo code Monkey King in the first 24 hours. Sun Wukong is very, 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 very good and very important. Bye for now.